Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and this weekend the very much lows of my life. Yes, Chris Hamill is in the hot seat. We start with a talking point and sadly I have to congratulate Manchester City on their title. Well done, I'm not bitter or salty at all. And we'll start speaking before I cry.
Title number 5 for the Citizens, meaning they're now just one league title behind the behemoths Sunderland and 2 behind powerhouses Aston Villa. I think that was a tweet from Gary Neville, wasn't it, over the weekend? As if to say, yes, you won the league, but you're still a small club. Hashtag football heritage. Anyway, best stat of the weekend. If you removed every Aguero and Jesus goal, City would still be top of the Premier League.
Mad.
If you removed every Edison save, City would still qualify for Europe. This is absolute madness. Filth of the highest order, not safe for work. Anyway, they've broken more than a few records at this stage, haven't they? And they're on course to break even more. So the ones they currently own, longest winning run in Premier League history, 18 wins on the bounce. Most consecutive away victories, 11 wins on the bounce. Pep, the first manager to win 4 Manager of the Month awards in a row. They are currently chasing most wins, which is 28, so they need to win 3 of their remaining 5 to beat Chelsea's record. They're chasing the biggest margin, which is currently 18 points. Sorry, Manchester United are holders of that. They're currently on 16 points and chasing best goal difference, currently plus 66. Chelsea again hold that on plus 71, and it looks like they'll probably get most points too. Currently on 87. Again, Mourinho's Chelsea own that record with 95. And the players, particularly Vincent Kompany, celebrating style. Let's have a quick look at that video.
So let's celebrate together!
So with City wrapping up the title, I guess there's one more question to be answered. Who is going to win the Premier League Player of the Year? In our office, we have 3 outstanding candidates: Salah, KDB and David De Gea.
Yeah,
I personally go Salah. I think Pato mentioned David De Gea, and a lot of other people have been mentioning KDB. We put out a poll yesterday. Salah, comfortable winner. 68% of you guys at home voted for the Egyptian king. No surprise either, he's currently on 40 goals in all competitions in his debut season, 30 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League. That comes from just 32 games. In fact, he is banging one in every 86 minutes. That is absolutely madness. He needs just 2 goals from his last 5 games to break the current record for the most goals in a single Premier League season. I think Shearer, Ronaldo and Suarez are all joint, but that was in a 38-game season, not the seasons when Andy Cole was scoring, which I think was it a 40 or a 42-game season, so a little bit more time. The other candidate then, KDB.
Yeah.
I would go Salah. Would you go KDB or Salah?
Yeah, I'd probably go Salah.
Salah, I would go him as well. But De Bruyne is also an option. Probably the best player in one of the Premier League's greatest ever teams. Currently contributing to a goal every 120 minutes in the league from central midfield. 15 assists. He's actually created 102 goal-scoring opportunities this season. I think he's 20 ahead of his nearest contender, which is Mesut Ozil. What a season KDB's having. I don't know whether you saw the pass on the weekend against Tottenham Hotspur with the outside of his boot, first time, the ball dropping out the sky. Absolutely ridiculous. There's literally no other player in the world that could have played that pass, in my opinion. I actually don't think half the players in the Premier League could have even controlled that ball, let alone tried to play a pass first time. The final name, we are mentioning him, although I think he's way down the pecking order, is David De Gea, purely because without him, Man United would probably be in the lower half of the league. No, we'd probably be like 6th or 7th, seriously. We're facing an average of 12 shots per game this season, and David De Gea has prevented 13.8 expected goals. That is a joke, given that Thibaut Courtois has prevented 0.4 and Ederson 0.3. How has he prevented 13.8? Second best is Nick Pope. What is going on at Manchester United? That's happening. But for me, it's Mohamed Salah. KDB, probably second favourite. But we sent Olivia Dodd out onto the streets of London to canvass the opinion of the people.
Following City's league triumph, Salah's 40th goal and De Gea saving 80% of the shots he faces, we're here to ask the public who they think should win Player and Young Player of the season.
Mo Salah of
Yeah.
Liverpool, without a doubt, he's special player.
My Salah, most definitely.
I think the Liverpool Mo Salah deserve it.
So scored I think 40 goals so far this season, so it is in great form.
I would say Mo Salah in
Yeah.
the Premier League, yeah.
How come? Just for his goals?
Yeah, I think for his goals he's changed position a bit, hasn't he, as well? So I don't think anyone's expecting him to do as well as he's done this year, and he's done really well.
Salah. Yeah, Salah.
Salah, how
Yeah.
come?
It's just he's in a world of his own at the moment. Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne,
How come?
no questions. Just his style of play, man. His consistency. Yeah, he's very good at what he does.
Mohamed Salah has been my player of the season. And what about yours?
I think De Bruyne.
Really?
Yeah.
No chance.
Do you think he's been a lot better than KDB this season?
Yes. Yeah, I think he surprised everyone how good he is. You know what I mean? And Mourinho must think, why did I let that guy go away from Chelsea?
Yeah, I think he's shown himself this year to be a world-class player,
Yeah.
and he stood out as one of the best players in the world this year.
Kevin deserves it as well. But if Liverpool win the Champions League, then I'll give it to Mo Salah. If they don't, then I'll give it to Kevin.
Probably the only defence for Man United,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
So who'd be your young player of the season?
Tough one, actually.
Cool, I'll give it to Sane because Sane, when he first came to City, it was a bit shaky. But this year he found his feet and he's done well for City.
Yeah, it would be the same as what Sod says there, Sane. Yeah,
Sane.
It's a breakthrough season for him. Really, found his feet. It's all about finding your feet because some players they take a little while.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young as well, it's a bit scary. Premier League, big teams. Not every player, some young players they come through, but yeah, I think with him now, he's kind of established himself now as as an up and coming player. He could be player of the season in a few seasons coming. So
From a potential and a goals perspective, probably Sterling. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know people say he misses a lot, but he's also scored a lot and he gets in position.
Go
I think
for.
Sessegnon. Yeah. No, he's for such a young player, he's done so well this year.
17 years old or
Yeah.
18 years old, and he scored 30 goals in the Championship. And the Championship, I think, is a very tough league to play in.
I reckon Sane. I think he's just shown he's opened up the play for City. With him and Sterling, they've got attacking options from both wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going with all City then?
yeah, it's all City. I think to win the league with this many games left, you can't really. What can you say? You can't really say anything, can you? And I'm an Arsenal fan to say that. So Arsene Wenger, leave.
Before we move into our first winners then, we heard from our mate Guillaume Balaguer over the weekend, who thinks that the style in which Pep Guardiola won the Premier League might influence it for years to come. Let's hear from him now and let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Make sure you go and check out his channel as well. All good stuff, exclusives.
I'll tell you the two things that are the most pleasing for a neutral like me about the victory of Manchester City in the league. Number one, it was part of a process started by the club. They wanted Pep Guardiola in 2012, they couldn't get him. Eventually they, after seducing him a lot, they got him and they prepared his arrival. For me, De Bruyne's signing is perhaps the first signing of the Pep Guardiola era. Chique Begiristain knew exactly what he was doing when he went for De Bruyne. And of course, the process continued with Pep Guardiola in charge because he needed to find out what kind of a squad he had, which players were good for him, and if his style could succeed in the Premier League. So he did not adapt to the Premier League. Basically, his players and the club, the team, they all adapted to his ideas. The other thing that is really pleasing is the fact that young coaches all over England, and I know that because I speak to many of them, I've got many of them at Biggles United as well, they all see the victory of Manchester City and Pep Guardiola as another way of winning. They see what he's doing, they like it, they enjoy it, and they realize that it works here. I think you could see that from a long distance. You could see that even before he came to England. But of course now it's a successful style, so they can apply it to their teams as well. He has won lots of doubters, and young coaches are looking and learning and applying it to their teams all over England. So that is another way of influencing English football that perhaps he didn't foresee. And I think that will go very deep into the mind of English coaches and in the style of English football, you can see it with Gareth Southgate and his admiration for what Pep Guardiola is doing.
But we go to our first winner now, and it is Chelsea for a decent comeback on the weekend. Not sure who sent it in. Who was it again? I've already forgotten.
Marcus Wheeler.
Marcus Wheeler. Hamster, do you want to tell them about Southampton first?
The bloody Blues, yeah. Chelsea and Olivier Giroud making our winners section, but Southampton threw away that 2-0 lead, didn't they? Losing 3-2 at home. And Chelsea were struggling in this game. Like I said, 2-0 down after goals from Tadic and Polish defender Jan Bednarek.
Good pronunciation.
Thor Ragnarok. I'm not sure. But 3 goals in 8 minutes, a Giroud brace and a Hazard goal means Southampton have only won once since the 28th of November. 3-2 against West Brom. On the 3rd of February. Record since then, played 20, won 1, drawn 9, lost 10. Goals scored 20, goals conceded 33. The trajectory just keeps going downwards, doesn't it? This is relegation form. They're in big trouble. And they'll be disappointed because, like I said, they were well in this game. Southampton had 42% possession, they had 10 shots against 17, 7 on target against Chelsea's 5. So we're a little bit more productive in the final third, but didn't have the quality to finish the game off. But there were some incidents that marred this game. That first half stamp from Alonso on Shane Long's calf was awful. The ref didn't spot it. There's likely to be retrospective action. Could miss Saturday's FA Cup tie with Southampton. Obviously, that's a semi-final. Big game for them in terms of securing a trophy over the course of the season. The second left-back to put in an awful tackle this weekend after Davies on company too. But let's go back to Southampton because Mark Hughes' record since taking over is relatively ugly now. Played 3, lost 3, scored 4, conceded 9, and they've lost consecutive home games despite scoring 2 or more for the first time. Now with Swansea drawing against Everton and Palace's victory over Brighton, the Saints are 5 points from safety with only 5 games remaining, and they're hoping to avoid playing in the Championship for the first time since 2011-12. And it just shows you, for a club that size, you're only a couple of bad managerial appointments away from absolute catastrophe. Joseph, Chelsea?
Yeah, Chelsea have been struggling really badly as well as of late. They've collected just 12 points from a possible last 33, and yet again they were far from brilliant in this match. They didn't actually have a shot on target until the 55th minute through Willian. Thankfully though, Eden Hazard turned up after that moment because he has gone missing for the last few months. 3 shots, 2 on target, 85% pass completion, 8 dribbles with a 100% completion rate, and of course that 1 goal, which actually made him the 3rd highest Chelsea scorer in Premier League history. Obviously he's behind Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard, he's got 69, but Alvaro Morata, who started the season off so well. We were all really excited about his signing at the start of the summer. I thought it was a really good move for about £55 million. I think we all agreed he was one of the best striking options Chelsea could have gone for, and he's kind of tailed off post-Christmas, isn't he? He had that back injury and he's never really recovered, and yet again he was quiet in this match, obviously being replaced by Olivier Giroud in the 61st minute. So congratulations to Conte, because that one paid off big time. He won 3 aerial duels, scored 2 goals from his 2 shots. Only Jermaine Defoe, actually, in the history of the Premier League, has more goals from the bench than Giroud. So it just shows you what an impact he has. Chelsea now go into the FA Cup game, like you mentioned, against Southampton again on the weekend. It is a big one for Antonio Conte, an absolute must win, because if they finish 5th or 6th, no trophies, I think it's even more inevitable, despite the fact we kind of already think he's going to leave anyway.
Just means he'll leave without a trophy,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
leaves without a trophy this season, and second season syndrome for about the 5th manager in Chelsea's history has hit hard.
Premier League history. Our first losers are Manchester United, and this came from literally everyone, as we all openly mocked Joseph on Twitter, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, gotta take the blows, haven't you, occasionally, because this was a big one. Don't say that, let's do that again.
Our first losers are Manchester United, which was suggested by most people on my Twitter feed as we openly mocked Joseph together. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and you have now the delight of kicking us off.
Yeah, rightly so as well, because we lost 1-0 at home to a basically relegated West Brom team to hand our biggest rivals the league title on a silver platter after beating them 3-2 away from home last week. So well done to Manchester United and everyone at the club there. Yes, we might have outshot West Brom 14-10, but who cares, because the opportunities we created were rubbish. Both teams had 4 shots on target. You cannot concede 10 shots at home to the bottom of the league. We made Jay Rodriguez look like Cristiano Ronaldo in this one. It was absolutely ridiculous. We were so poor all over the pitch. Hilariously, as I tweeted pre-game, we finally started playing a midfield three when the league's already off, so that's good. And Pogba is finally getting played as a left central midfielder with a more attacking, advanced role, despite the fact, though, he was not very good in this game. That's putting it mildly. I already did one take where I said something I shouldn't have. So Paul, not at his best on the day. I think he had 3 shots, 1 on target, the other 2 hit Rosette. All of them came from outside the area. He created a big 1 chance and produced a massive 0 tackles and an even bigger 0 interceptions. So congratulations to you, Paul. Hooked at 60 minutes. That one went well. Jose saying that came because he was booked in the first half. He was actually booked by doing a Diego Maradona handball. Even that didn't go in the back of the net. So that was a waste of time, wasn't it, Paul? Nevertheless, one key stat from the weekend that really jumped out at me and got me excited. This is the first time Jose has failed to win the league title in his 2nd season. God, I'm just so ecstatic. Well done, Man United. Really fucking comical.
I actually liked in your other take how you said that one of Pogba's shots hit row G, that famous row. Anyway, this was somewhat of a surprise, wasn't it? Because Jose Mourinho is actually very good at home. I think last season he set a record of 38 games without reply at Old Trafford last season going into this season. But in this game, not so much. Just West Brom's 4th win all season. Prior to this, they've gone 12 matches without a victory, including 11 straight defeats.
That's a shambles.
They are worse than Ian Holloway's Blackpool.
Oh, that's harsh. That is harsh.
Billy something's Derby.
It might be right, though.
Davies.
That was one of my favourite ever Premier League teams, that Blackpool side. Brett Ormerod. James Beattie on loan from Rangers, get him in. Gary Taylor-Fletcher bobbing in the hole with Charlie Adam.
James Vaughan.
Fantastic.
He'd gone on to the bloody, what was it, free agents section. I thought manager just hoovered everyone up.
Weaving down.
Michael Chopra. Anyway, it was only the 2nd time in Premier League history United have lost to a club sitting at the bottom of the Premier League, just to emphasise what a poor result this was. And caretaker boss Darren Moore has taken 2 matches to equal Alan Pardew's total number of Premier League wins across 18 games as West Brom's caretaker manager. Now, we knew the atmosphere was toxic, but it makes that decision to, keep Pardew as long as they did even more preposterous. However, with just 24 points, 3 fewer than 19th place Stoke, and Liverpool and Spurs among their remaining 4 Premier League fixtures, the Baggies are almost certain to go down. Farewell. Absolute nothing club contributed nothing to the Premier League.
Our final winner of the day, yes, it has to be Barcelona. But why? This one comes from Ali Abdullah, hamster.
Yeah, and a bunch of numbers after his Twitter handle as well. Sort that out. Absolute nightmare to write in. They beat Valencia 2-1 at the Nou Camp to break La Liga's unbeaten record, which now stands at 39 games, 132, drawn 7 in that time. Ter Stegen, the first player to go 39 consecutive games in the league without losing a game, and he's deserved that record, hasn't he?
Impressive.
He's been phenomenal this season. Now, despite Barca dominating possession, as they normally do with around 62%, Valencia actually had 5 more shots than the Culés, only managed 1 less on target than Barca, 6 to their 7. Now, arguably, this was Philippe Coutinho's best performance in a Barca shirt so far. 2 assists from 2 key passes, 3 dribbles and 4 tackles. An all-round performance from the little Brazilian. His former Liverpool teammate, that took a little while to get out, Luis Suarez, was a benefactor from his playmaking in this game, scoring his 23rd league goal of the season. He's now joint second with Cristiano Ronaldo in the charts. And it wasn't surprising, as Suarez's favourite team to play against in a Barca shirt, in Barca colours, already said shirt, don't like repetition on this show, is Los Che. now has 10 in 11 against them. Oh.
Oh, it's pretty impressive, although a few nerves must have been jangling about the unbeaten streak when Danny Parejo bagged from the penalty spot in the 87th minute. That's actually the first penalty that Barcelona have had awarded against them in over 2 years at home. What on earth is that statistic?
Just put a picture of Marshall's shifty eyes on screen.
UEFA footballtwitter.com, yeah, brilliant. Anyway, Barca were resilient because Valencia actually been on a bit of a hot streak. They've won 5 on the bounce coming into this game, so good result for the Blaugrana. Apparently though, if Barca win their next 2 games, they can win the league against Madrid. Not 100% sure on this stat, but it could well happen that they beat Madrid to win the league. Yeah, that would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it? They've also got Sevilla in the Copa del Rey final, haven't they? Who haven't beaten Barca in over 8 games, so I'm pretty sure Valverde will be confident going into that one. One talking point, though, that did come out of this match was Ousmane Dembele yet again left on the bench, and there are some rumblings in Spain that he is extremely unsettled at the club.
Yeah.
Which would be a bit of a surprise to me, because obviously he picked up that really serious injury, didn't he? He's gone through surgery a couple of times, so maybe he's just a little bit unsettled in terms of injuries and not finding a place in the squad, and next season will really be the season he bursts onto the scene, because we all know his quality and what he can produce, so fingers crossed he shows up in a big way for Barcelona, because he can be a big player in the future of the club.
I think Busquets had to have an injection as well to get through this game.
Yeah.
Let the man rest.
For goodness sake, honestly, he's got half a leg left. It's a joke.
Our final losers are Arsenal, and no surprises who submitted this. It's our very own George Wright. He also wrote this section as well, so prepare for some house rave, the highest order he's going to go in. Joe, lead us off.
Yes, this is absolute chaos because they obviously slumped to a 2-1 loss away at Newcastle. They are now, get this for a stat, the only side in England's top 4 leagues without an away point in 2018. Absolutely ridiculous. In fact, the closest team in the entire English pyramid to match their away points total in 2018 are Tamworth Town, who are 20th in the National League North. What is going on?
Hammers.
It started off so well for the Gunners, as well as Aubameyang teed up Lacazette to put them in front. Lacazette's goal was the 100th Arsenal have scored in all competitions this season, the 4th Premier League club to reach that landmark. But then, Jose Perez struck 15 minutes later after a sequence of 11 passes. It was actually a really, really nicely constructed goal. Matt Ritchie then sealed the win just before the 70th minute, making it the 45th time Arsenal have conceded this season. That is one less than Swansea. Swansea are in 17th. What is going on at Arsenal? The only Premier League season that they've conceded more goals under Arsene Wenger was in 2011-12. They're very likely to break that record this year, especially as these are the words of George Wright. Don't even bother bleeping this. A record that is sure to be broken with that useless Mustafi at centre half. Wow.
Probably still bleep it.
Probably going to have to bleep that because that is an outrageous swear word, George.
I actually think if Rafa leads this Newcastle side, given the squad, given how much money he spent during the summer, I think if he leads them to a top 10 finish, he's got to be a candidate for manager of the season.
Ooh, who? Him,
Dyche and Pep.
And Pep.
You can't. I mean, Pep's going to win it, deservedly so. Best Premier League team we've seen.
Yeah.
But still, unbelievable from the Spaniard. But let's get back to the game in hand, because statistically, Arsenal did sweet FA to deserve a point from this match. Yes, they had 70% possession, but just 3 of their 15 shots registered on target. The Toon Army, who've got some absolute jokers up front, managed to register 4 on target. Did Joselu start, George? He's bloody rubbish, isn't he? Diame is was an absolute force in midfield too as well. 5 tackles, 5 interceptions, 3 aerial duels, 1. Bit of a brick house, isn't he? And John Joe Shelby, his midfield partner, who was labelled the White Paul Pogba on Twitter after this. Questionable, dubious, but kind of get the point. His array of passing was causing absolute chaos in Arsenal defensive third, though not too hard, as George so eloquently wrote earlier in the script. And he's now actually put more funny stats to show how Arsenal are to wrap this up. So, stick with me. Arsenal have lost 5 successive league matches away from home for the first time since December 1984. Arsenal have now lost 11 Premier League games this season, equaling their worst tally of league defeats in the season under Arsene Wenger. 05-06 was the last one. In the Champions League final that year, though, so competing on multiple fronts. They are with the Europa League, aren't they? But still. Yes. Arsenal are exactly the same number of points from the bottom of the Premier League table, which is 21 points, as they are from the top of the table.
Literally the most mid-table club possible.
Pretty damning, yeah. Quality stuff, though. Willock started for Arsenal. We've got down here the 4th player to play Premier League game for Arsenal, born after Wenger started managing the club. So the future might be bright. Good luck against Atletico. Arsenal fans, form.
Just before we go then, a big congratulations to Wolves for getting promoted to the Premier League this season. Big up NES and all of the Portuguese crew down there.
Nothing but bangers.
I know, Jorge Mendes will be a happy bunny. What else is happening on FD though, and EFD?
Oh, what day is it? Sunday. Sunday Vibes came out. Go and check that out, where we discuss Liverpool's title credentials. EFD, Monday ERU is coming out in an hour, and Stat Wars The Champions went live on Saturday as well, featuring Will Brazier of Sport fame, obviously an exciting episode. And who did he play? Dougie.
Doogie.
Yeah.
Should Doogie wax his head? Vote in the poll there.